What's next for you? How do you feel? What's going through your mind right now? Hey there, Must Love MMA and bare knuckle fight fans. Look who I got in the house with me tonight. Harris Stephenson joining me all the way from Mississippi. What's going down with you tonight, Harris?
Oh, nothing much. Got off of work a little bit ago, trying to wind down a little bit and lose these last few pounds for the big day.
All right. Speaking of the big day, you have a big fight coming up at BKFC 9. We have to talk about that. How is training camp going?
Training camp couldn't be better. I'm right on point where I want to be with my weight cut, right on point where I want to be with my training. I've trained harder than ever for this camp. I was supposed to fight in BKFC 7. That fight got canned due to my opponent being double-digit overweight, and I never quit training. So This is just stacked on. So I feel ultimately prepared for this fight. So I think it's really going to show.
Awesome. You know, your opponent, Kenny Licea, is making his first debut in bare knuckle. Now, I did find some video of him where he's fought with gloves on. But do you think that gives you a clear advantage because this is his first time debuting in the sport? And bare knuckle, as we all know, is different than any other kind of combat sport.
Bare knuckle is definitely different. It's a whole different animal. A lot of people think it's going to be real similar to boxing. I actually prefer to compare it to MMA just because of the Muay Thai plum. Boxers can't utilize that, and it's obviously proven very effective in the bare knuckle world. Just take Jim Alex, for example. He's utilized it better than anybody. So I think that with him having a little bit of boxing experience, that's going to help him a little bit. I think his MMA experience is probably going to help him out a little bit more. He has a couple KO wins, so I think I will have advantage just based off the experience of being able to do it. I think the anxiety level is still going to be there because it's the first time, something new. You start 3 feet in front of each other rather than 12, 15 feet across the cage, you know. So I think just everything combined, it's going to be kind of mentally draining for him, whereas I'm going to be a little bit more used to it.
So this is your fourth bare knuckle fight, right? Number 4.
Yes, ma'am. I fought the first guy from Mississippi to fight in bare knuckle. They came down for their second show in Biloxi. Yeah. I fought in that card, was the only guy from Mississippi to do it. Then came back for back to Biloxi, Mississippi for BKFC 3. Ended up fighting, going to the 5th round. Ended up getting caught in that fight. Suffered my first and only loss with bare knuckle. They came back for BKFC 5. I won a split decision over a very tough Caleb Harris. And I was supposed to fight in 7 when they came back to Biloxi. That fell through. My opponent was overweight. And now they're coming back to Biloxi for 9.
You were ready.
We'll see what happens. Yes, ma'am. I'm more than ready.
How have you changed as a fighter since your debut at BKFC 2?
Oh, man, it's night and day because I came into the bare knuckle scene known in MMA as a ground guy. I was jiu-jitsu. I would knock people out. Right. However, that would just be because they didn't want to go to the ground with me, or I'd do it from the ground. Yeah. So I had that ability, but my ground was mainly where I show my talents.
Right.
So now that I've been bare knuckle, when people was getting into bare knuckle boxing, they thought I was insane, which, you know, I might be, who knows? But I wanted to always challenge myself. I want to do something that's a little bit scary to me because that's where my adrenaline gets the most rush, and I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
So I want to scare myself. I want to do something that nobody else will do. So therefore, I got into bare knuckle, not knowing what to expect. Won my first one in 26 seconds with a quick KO. Fell in love with it. Yeah. But from that point on, I've learned as the fights have gone on that my boxing has had to go up a little bit. So I took a step back. Went from MMA training to going to a Gulfport boxing club and down in Gulfport, Mississippi, and I was trained with strictly professional boxers. Got my butt whooped. So I had to learn a thing or two. So I had to learn head movement that I wasn't really good at with MMA, and I've kind of gotten the bob and weave down and doing things you can't do in MMA because you catch a kick or a knee. So I've kind of played with it a little bit, and I've gotten a lot better. I think it's really going to show.
I can't wait to see the fight. Now, you're also still fighting in MMA. Is that correct? You're doing both? How are you doing that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to keep the fight wagon rolling as best I can. I just turned 30, and I told myself I was going to keep this streak alive of however long I can fight until another injury happens or something takes off. And bare knuckle's taking off for me. So I want to stay active. And actually, a week after BKFC 9, I'm trying to get a combat jiu-jitsu match in and do that the very next weekend. Just trying to keep my ground game alive too, to prove I'm a well-rounded fighter. I can do it anywhere.
So I guess my next question kind of makes sense. I know it makes sense now that I'm hearing you're doing MMA and you're doing bare knuckle. You also have a full-time job as a police officer. When do you sleep? How do you balance this all out? This is craziness. You probably don't sleep. I want to know the truth.
On work nights, I average maybe 4.5 hours a night. Luckily, I have a wife that's very supportive, Harris Stephenson. You know, my two girls, I got Genesis and Graceland. They're both very supportive of me. So with me being gone, working full time, I work 12.5-hour shifts. I have to wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll have to work out before work, come home after work. I come home, get home at 7. If I get off on time, I'm back on patrol. So that's always iffy. And then as the fight gets closer, I'll try to do a little afternoon workout. My girls go to bed at 8:30, so that only gives me an hour and a half to eat dinner, train, and put them to bed and spend a little time with them. So
it's hard, I bet.
Yes, ma'am.
But in the end, it's all worth it, because we all love bare knuckle, and your girls have you're going to give them the best education, and you have a great role model. Speaking of your girls, I have a photo that you posted on Instagram in 2017 of one of them boxing. Is she still boxing? She's so cute, by the way.
Thank you. And yes, both my girls, they love what their daddy does, and so they both come in here. And actually, my 2.5-year-old will come in here now and put on her older sister's gloves and start hitting the bag and trying to copy what I do. So it's really cool that they're taking after it. Don't know if I'll let them fight, but.
Well, on your Instagram, you said that they may need to defend themselves. And as a police officer and a dad, I think it kind of makes sense. It's good training. I wished I had taken it up. It wasn't very popular when I was growing up. I know you have to share this story with our viewers because it's very funny, because when you first started in bare knuckle, many of the news anchors thought you were David Feldman. So you got to tell our viewers that story, because I think it's very funny.
Oh, yes. So I go into the interview, and I've done interviews before for MMA. I've done interviews with these very news anchors at that. So mind you, I'm a local guy. I've done interviews with these people. They kind of have an idea of who I am. I've only done it a couple of times, so they don't know me on a first-name basis. However, they should probably recognize me just a little bit. So I go into the interview with BKFC president David Feldman. We sit down. The gentleman news anchor looks at him and says, "How long have you been fighting?" And he goes, "I'm the promoter." And he goes, "Oh." He looked at me and goes, "You're the fighter?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You wouldn't guess it, but yeah, I'm the fighter. He's the promoter." He goes, "Oh, okay." And then the female news anchor came and sat down and looked at me and said, How long have you been promoting?" I said, "No, ma'am, I'm the fighter. He's the promoter." She goes, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And David Feldman made the joke. He says, "Do I look that bad?" I said, "No, man, you look good. I look that nervy. It's okay. It's on me, not you."
Oh, I love that story. And you have to tell our viewers how you got your nickname, because that totally relates into the nerdiness. And it's such a great photo that we have of you with your shirt on.
Yes, ma'am. That came from the president of bare knuckle himself. At that point in time, he said, "You know what? You're like the Clark Kent of bare knuckles, because nobody would anticipate you being the fighter that you are. But you know what? They better watch out whenever the gear comes off."
Mm-hmm. Before we go to today, is there anything else you want to add tonight, sir?
I just want to add that I'm blessed to be a part of this journey with bare knuckle, and I hope everybody enjoys this promotion as it's taken off. And I think it's going to take off fireworks as if it hasn't already, but even more so, you know. And I think this fight in general, Kenny Licea, I know he comes to fight, he comes to bang, and I think we're going to put on a show. He's got a heavy right hand. He was a college pitcher, I believe, for baseball. So I think he's got a quick right hand, and he throws it kind of unorthodox. So it's going to be dangerous, but I think we're going to have a good game plan for him. Been working a little bit of southpaw stuff. It's always struggled with that. So hey, might have some new tricks in my sleeve.
Dangerous and exciting, just the way us adrenaline junkies like stuff, right?
That's it.
All right. Fight fans, you can catch BKFC 9 Saturday, November 16th at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. And you can get tickets at www.bareknuckle.tv. As always, I will be there bringing you all the news, all the action, all the before fight interviews, after fight interviews. And I want to wish you good luck, Harris, at BKFC 9. See you in Mississippi.
Thank you, man.